It's hard to believe we're already wrapping up 2021, but that's here whether you like it or not, and with only a few weeks left in the year, it's that time again where we take a look back at all the Chromebooks that have released and pick our favorites. This year's been different than most, however, as we've had more Chromebooks released this year than any I can think of, and we still know there are a bunch more on the way. But it's November, and that means we need to talk about the best Chromebooks of the year that are available right now and ready for you to go buy. Today's video is brought to you by MediaTek, the company behind some of the best Chromebooks out there on the market right now. As a matter of fact, there are a few devices on our list of the best Chromebooks of 2021 that are powered by MediaTek chips, and they're among the most popular Chromebooks that you can buy right now. The current lineup of MediaTek MT8183 devices helped shape the ARM Chromebook movement over the past 18 months, and much of that is thanks to devices like the Lenovo Chromebook Duo and the ultra-affordable Chromebooks like the HP Chromebook 11A. With a balance of performance and battery life and solid pricing, these types of devices fit into all sorts of use cases for users trying to keep their budgets in check. But that's not the end of the story for MediaTek, not by a long shot. With the new Companion 820 and 1200 series chips beginning to arrive in Chromebooks sometime in the latter parts of 2021, MediaTek will have an ARM-powered Chromebook SoC for just about any user at any budget. Whether we're talking about the most powerful ARM chip to ever be inside a Chromebook in the upcoming Companion 1200 series, or the new mid-range Companion 820 series that looks to blend performance and affordability, based on what they've done in the Chromebook space already with the existing MT8183, we're all just really excited to see what comes of these new, more powerful chips in the near future. And if all that sounds interesting to you, hit the link in the description below to check out all that MediaTek is doing in the Chromebook space right now and in the future. A couple quick notes before we dive in. The way we do this list each year is really simple, but I just like to lay the groundwork before we jump in. We'll divide the list into three main categories, and you can call those whatever you want. For us, it's really more about grouping these by price, so the name of the category doesn't really make any difference. But we have our list divided into three groups: $0 to $349, $350 to $649, and then $650 and up. We'll choose our winner in each group and select a handful of honorable mentions, and that's about it. So without any further ado, let's jump in. We'll start things off with the most populated category of Chromebooks by far, the affordable segment. These devices are going to always come with their trade-offs. I mean, they're going to have like plastic builds and mediocre screens or slow processors, but there are some changes that happened this year that make this whole affordable Chromebook category a lot more interesting. Mainly, we have Jasper Lake, Intel's small core chips, in the mix. And though there are many more of these devices coming in the later parts of this year and early in 2022, the introduction of Jasper Lake has really had an impact on the low-end price segment of Chromebooks this year. It means we're getting far faster Chromebooks than the predecessors that came just last year. For our honorable mentions in this category, we're going with the Acer Chromebook 317, the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook Go, and the HP Chromebook 11A. First up, let's talk about the Acer Chromebook 317. It's large, unique, and surprisingly quick. 17.3 inches is the screen size on this thing, and it's the first of its kind. It's all plastic, powered by these new Jasper Lake chips I was just talking about, and there's a bunch of different configurations, but even the base model's honestly pretty fast with a 1080p IPS screen, and the thing just feels like a full-blown workstation on the go. It might be a bit big for those of you that are, on the go all the time, but this is a really fun Chromebook to use. Next up is the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook Go, and it's an aptly named device that we've honestly not yet had in our office, but based on the specs and the looks of it, we're looking at something close to Samsung's previous affordable Chromebooks, and that's honestly a pretty good thing. They're good sellers. The screen's not going to be great. It's TN and just standard HD, and the general specs with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage aren't amazing, but it's the same Jasper Lake processor I just was talking about inside, and so it's not going to be slow. And for most people, the comfort of buying a brand that they're familiar with will make the Galaxy Chromebook Go a good fit, generally speaking. And I've got to give a nod to the looks on this one. The silver out and the blacked out interior do look kind of sharp. Our final honorable mention is the HP Chromebook 11A, and just like the Samsung we just talked about, this one has a pretty bad screen. But the 11A is small, it's light, it's well built, has a good keyboard and trackpad, and that cool blue color. It's rocking the MediaTek MT8183, so don't expect any like blinding speed here. This chip's been around the block, and while it's good for, general light activities in Chrome OS, it's actually pretty speedy with Android-based applications. And finally, our winner in this category for 2021 is a Chromebook that has truly stood the test of time, the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. There's not much left to say about the Duet that's not already been said, but Lenovo clearly cut all the right corners with this device. We still have a few at my house that get regular use, and I'm just always pleased when I open it up and see the screen. It just looks great, and if speed's what you're after, you probably need to look elsewhere, but for the money, the Lenovo Chromebook Duet is still the right choice for most people in this price range. Moving on to the mid-range category, this is what I still feel is like the meat of the Chromebook world. Really, you start getting standout devices with like great build quality that still manage to keep all their pricing in check. So the consumer end of the market's definitely moving in this general direction of the segment, and that's really honestly a good thing. With these devices, you can get some fantastic computing experiences without completely obliterating your budget. Our honorable mentions in this category include the Lenovo Chromebook Duet 5, the Lenovo Flex 5i, and the HP Chromebook X211. Let's talk about the Lenovo Chromebook Duet 5 first, because it's the latest Chromebook to show up at the office. The Duet 5 is already becoming one of my favorite devices of the year. I mean, I wasn't sold on the 13.3-inch OLED panel in a detaching tablet at first, but in use, now that I've got it, it's actually kind of nice. The screen's really a delight. The speakers are nice and full. They're immersive. The keyboard and kickstand combo is pretty usable on a desk, and the Gen 2 Snapdragon 7C inside this thing is performing way faster than I expected it to. And when I want to kick back and just be a consumer, I can just pop the screen off and lay back and consume content. Honestly, this thing is really compelling. Next up, the Lenovo Flex 5i is a no-brainer in this category again this year. Take what Lenovo did back in 2020 with the original Flex 5 and just hit repeat. And I mean, the processor is upgraded to a faster 11th gen Intel Tiger Lake processor. There's a couple different ones, but the screen, build, convertible form factor, all that stuff, it's all still here. And it makes for one of the best values in the Chrome OS world that you can find. The lower model does come with a Pentium Gold chip inside, but don't be fooled. That chip is nearly as capable as the 11th gen Core i3, and it still gets points for having all of these features at one of the lowest price points you can get. The HP Chromebook X211 is our final honorable mention, and it makes our list mainly because of all the stuff they packed into it. I mean, for me, this device is so close to being the tablet of my dreams, it just fell a little flat in the performance category. But with a stunning, bright 3x2 screen, the included USI pen that charges wirelessly and just magnetically attaches to the side, a size and a feel that is basically perfect for a tablet, I think there are just tons of users who are going to really enjoy this device. Without question, the winner in this mid-range category is the Asus Chromebook CX5500. This device debuted early in the year, and when it came out in the spring, I actually purchased one for my wife pretty quickly. The build quality is solid, the looks are unique, really slick, the keyboard is fantastic, the speakers are loud and full, the screen looks really nice, and honestly, the only hang-up I had with the CX5500 was the screen brightness that only gets up to 250 nits. But honestly, that's not a deal breaker. This Chromebook brings serious speed, great looks, and usability for a really low price. The MSRP is $569, and honestly, it's just easily one of my overall favorite Chromebooks of the year. Now, before we leave the mid-range segment, I do want to give a sidebar honorable mention to a device that's not a Chromebook, but easily probably the most inventive Chrome OS device we spent time with this year, the HP Chromebase 22. This device is fantastic for so many reasons, but the great screen that turns and spins, the awesome speakers, the fast internals, and just the overall aesthetic, the look. It just put it at the top of my coolest devices of the year list. We've loved this Chromebase, and if you check out our review, you'll see all the reasons why. I know it's not a Chromebook, but it is the coolest Chrome OS hardware you'll see out there right now. Okay, now to the high-end segment. Over the past couple years, the high-end portion of the Chromebook market has changed quite a bit, and that's mostly due to the emergence of mid-range devices that have most of what you want in a high-end Chromebook for a lot less money. But that doesn't mean there aren't some niceties to be had if you want to spend a little bit more cash on a nicer overall Chromebook. For our honorable mentions in this category, we have the HP Chromebook 13.5-inch X360, terrible name, the Acer Chromebook Spin 713, and the Asus Chromebook Flip CX5400. We'll start with the HP Chromebook 13.5-inch X360, previously known as the Elite C1030, which was a much better name, but it's a device we included in last year's Best of 2020 video, even though HP hadn't actually shipped the thing yet. But my gut feeling on that Chromebook was solid, and all the specs and all the info we had about it did end up making for a really great device with a 3x2 13.5-inch screen, an all-aluminum build, a fingerprint scanner, a thin chassis, convertible form factor, 10th gen Core i processors. The Elite C1030 was easily one of the best Chromebooks we tested in the last 12 months. This new version doesn't really change much at all, it just kind of changes the name and a couple of the specs, but it's readily available at Best Buy now, and again, if you're willing to part with a little bit more money for a better Chromebook experience, this is it. Next up is the Acer Chromebook Spin 713, and just like last year, this device showed up ready to play. It also has a 3x2 13.5-inch display just like the HP, but it does so with a Quad HD resolution, and as it always has, it looks amazing. This year's iteration fixes up some of the build material issues that I had with last year's version, but keeps the cool stuff like the large glass trackpad, crazy fast internals, backlit keyboard, and lots of ports. And though it's $699 and only barely in the high-end category, don't be fooled. The Spin 713 is high-end and has a lot to offer, and it makes a great Chromebook, whether it's on sale like it is a lot, or even at its full MSRP. Our final honorable mention goes to the Asus Chromebook Flip CX5400, and it's a device I didn't realize I'd love as much as I do. While the CX5500 we just talked about in the last segment takes a newish approach to design, looks, and feel from Asus's previous Chromebooks, the CX5400 is what I think you would get if you took the C302, C434, and 436, mushed them all together, and then just kept the best parts from each. The all-aluminum chassis is smooth, light, and attractive. The screen is bright and vibrant, full HD. The keyboard is wonderful and backlit. The trackpad is buttery smooth, and there's an included stowed USB pen right in the box. This one also has a fanless design and can be had with 11th gen Core i3 or Core i5 processors, up to 16 gigs of RAM, and up to 256 gigs of NVMe storage. It's fast, it's attractive, and honestly, it's just fun to use. Though it's not the winner here, I really think you could make a case for it being number one. However, our winner in the high-end Chromebook category just has to go to the Asus Chromebook CX9. It debuted at CES in 2021, and honestly, we knew this thing was going to be amazing when we first caught a glimpse of it. Working from it for the past few weeks, I can confirm that is the case. It's got a bright 400-nit IPS screen, an ultra-firm chassis, a fantastic keyboard, a fantastic trackpad, and all that stuff is noteworthy, but there are actually some fun additions as well. The fingerprint scanner is great. The intense ergo lift hinge that brings the whole thing up off the desk is really great for longer typing sessions, and the numeric keypad that takes over your whole trackpad is just a nice touch. And with high-end internals, we're talking up to a 11th gen Core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of NVMe storage. There's just no doubt that this is the Chromebook to beat in 2021. So that's it for the best Chromebooks of 2021. As I said at the top, there's still an absolute ton of Chromebooks just on the horizon. High-end, mid-range, affordable, convertible, clamshell, tablet devices, they're all coming. But if you're looking for a new Chromebook right now, we do think that this list is a great place to start, and we really hope we've helped you make a decision on which devices are the best ones that fit your price range. But guys, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, head down there, hit that subscribe button, and the notification icon that's right next to that, click that, and you'll be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Until next time, we'll see you.